In. All right. We are live. Welcome, everybody, to the House of Horrors. I'm Steven,
Oh,
the Horror Freak 85. Oh, there's Lou Taylor Pucci, our special guest here for the night after some rescheduling, but we finally made it.
we
So,
did it.
welcome.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
that's going to be a good
Thank
time
you from New
tonight.
York, from New York City. How you all doing?
Live from New York, it's Thursday night.
Yes. So, do you guys air this live or
Yeah.
do you do it?
Yes,
Oh,
it's,
that's really cool.
yeah.
Because I
So,
knew you usually do like Saturdays or something, right?
yeah, we normally do Saturdays, but I mean, like I said, we'll always accommodate our guests. Willing to show
Fun.
up, I'll
Well,
do it in the
thanks.
morning if
Thanks for working
necessary.
around my stupid schedule.
So,
Oh, you're
well,
fine. So we usually go live and then we keep it up on his channel. If there's something funny, sometimes I'll clip something out and I put it on mine because I don't have access to his. And then I'll edit the video down and put just the audio on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and stuff later on when I get the
Nice.
time to do all the
Oh,
editing.
fun. That's great.
so
Nice.
different platforms. So
Right.
yeah, people can go
I'm
back.
editor and graphic designer.
Editor in chief. Nice.
Yeah, she's the one who designed your thumbnail. For
Oh, perfect. I saw that. That was
Yes.
really cool looking.
with all the
Looked
movies.
great.
Thank you.
I like Miss Boomstick as well.
Evil
Yes.
Dead reference, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the right person for this. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a great shirt. Nice. Man, I loved Ash versus the Evil Dead too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
remember
so
when
glad
that
they
was
didn't
all-
finish it off. I mean, I wish they would have done at least a movie to end it or something. Like, what
Dude,
the
I
hell?
know. That's how
Well,
I
we do
felt.
get Evil Dead Rise, so
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
like,
it's-
yeah.
don't have
What is-
Bruce, but I
What
think
is
he's
Evil Dead
producing it.
Rise? What is
It's
Evil
the
Dead
new
Rise?
movie.
It's a new movie coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And so what's that? What storyline is that going to follow?
They're going to be in it's either Los Angeles or New York. I've covered it, but I've covered because I usually like go over horror news on my channel.
Yeah.
So, but I've like talked about several topics. So I don't remember exactly, but it's either in Los Angeles or New York, and I believe it's going to be younger kids
Oh,
that
cool.
are going to be in it. And if I remember correctly, Bruce is producing it. Actually, let me see if I can find the IMDb so I can.
So it's not really following like Ash versus the Evil Dead
Or
or
Mia,
the
yeah.
remake or reboot. I
Right,
guess,
it's
that
going to be
I
like
was
its
in.
own.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I know. I think they never knew what to do with using Evil Dead in all its awesomeness because, like, the originals were made so long ago,
Mhm.
and I think Sam Raimi was always trying to reboot it, but couldn't find a director who really wanted to do something different, but also make it his own and make it new. And that's how Fede Alvarez got into it. He had made this, like, do you know what it's called? I can't remember what it's called, but he made this short film that was like these giant robots attacking a city. It was massive. And it was like all over the internet at this time, like maybe 2011, 12, somewhere on there. And that's, I guess, what Sam Raimi saw and was like, who is that guy? Like, he created this thing. And I guess he got in with him through that short film. And then Sam Raimi was like, would you like to take a stab at like something that I've done before? Like, how about Evil Dead? And Fede is like, what? Like, Fede had seen the Evil Dead when he was 8 years old and it scared the shit out of him. And he it left an imprint. So he goes, oh my God, I would love to do this. Like, yes, of course. And Sam Raimi, I guess, said, well, do whatever you want. Make it as crazy as you want. And then the story is, at least from Fede, that he wrote a script that took place on a boat. I don't know if you ever heard that, but he wrote Evil Dead on a boat. Like, the whole thing, instead of a cabin, it took place on a boat. But in it, he had also taken into account like creating an obvious, like, a deeper backstory, as they did in the reboot with me, which was that she's Mia is rehabbing from drugs, and that's why they're on this boat, And so Sam Raimi apparently read it and was like, I love everything about this except the boat. Just take out the boat thing, put it back in a cabin, and this is going to be awesome. And so he did. Fede did that, and then that's the movie that we saw, 2013 version anyway. Pretty funny.
That would be weird in a boat. I can't imagine.
I know. I think he was just trying, he was just going to go with it as far as he can go.
Yeah. Take it to an island or something.
Yeah. Well, that's a new thing coming out too. Isn't Isle of the Dead coming out soon?
Yeah, it's a part of The Walking Dead. They actually changed the name
Oh, really?
What did they change the name to? Shoot, I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's not Isle of the Dead anymore?
I don't think so, because that's the one with Megan and Maggie, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. I don't know anything
Uh,
about it. I just saw, so I'm from New Jersey, and I was driving through New Jersey. I was actually going to a doctor's appointment, and along the side of the road, there used to be this really shitty hotel. It was like called the Hollywood Hotel or something. Motel, actually. It was just a real dinker. And so we would drive past it all the time, and this time it just had like caution tape all around and production trucks and everything. We were like, what's filming there? And they go, oh, Isle of the Dead. It's the new Walking Dead thing. I was like, oh, it's perfect. It's perfect for that place. And this guy who owns the hotel is probably going, wow, they love my hotel because it's so cool. And everybody else is going, we love it because it's so shitty.
and just think he's going to make good money of it being shitty.
Yeah, that's great. It's the best thing that could happen. Hope they
Isle
do
of
it.
Dead was a title used when the spinoff was announced in March, but it was a working title.
Oh,
And then now it's going to be called Walking Dead City. And it's going to
interesting.
begin filming in New Jersey this summer with a
fun.
release date scheduled sometime in 2023.
Wow, they're filming the whole thing in New Jersey. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought they were just using a cool location. Damn. I gotta get in that.
I was gonna say you should
They're
go
filming in my area.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you worked alongside of I'll probably mispronounce her name, but Nadia
Hilker.
She's part of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. When she got that, oh god, she was so excited. Actually, she was kind of like, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I know that you watched Walking Dead a lot, and I don't want to ruin your show for you, but I'm gonna be in it now." I was like, "That's amazing! Great! That's so cool." She's been on it for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she came in season 10 or something. Or
I've heard it's very grueling though, like a lot of work and a lot of time that they're there and just filming forever, and it can get real depressing. It's all like death all around you, and they're filming in nasty locations all the time. So it's got to be its own barrel of laughs.
I can imagine. But
I would have a great time on something like that, but it could be. I could see it being a little painful too.
Yeah. When I was at the Days of Dead convention, they were having like you could be an extra, one of the zombies, you could be a walker in it and everything.
Fun.
And then so I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But you had to be a resident of Atlanta or Georgia or whatever. And I'm like,
that's such a bummer.
I'm like, no, because they said they do a little zombie school or whatever. And then
yes.
They started zombie school.
That's pretty sick. I want to go to zombie school. Actually, we did a little bit of zombie school for Evil Dead. It was pretty cool. Like Fede Alvarez, the whole thing with that movie was one of the main producers named Rob Tappert. He also did like Xena Warrior Princess and Kevin Sorbo's Hercules, Legendary Hero when I was a kid, and I used to watch that stuff all the time. But his productions they're from New Zealand.
It's like, and Ted Raimi was on Xena.
Exactly, yeah. And Rob Tappert is married to Lucy Lawless, Xena Warrior Princess. Okay. So, and then they also made Spartacus in New Zealand. And so we filmed in New Zealand. I was like, why are we filming in New Zealand? And it was because they only had to fly 5 people over, just the cast, because everybody else was already there. They already had all the production houses there and everything that they, had used for many years. So he had a whole little ecosystem there that he could create. It was super fun. I mean, New Zealand is like the most beautiful place in the world. It's crazy.
So did you, when you weren't filming, did you check out any cool sites while you were there?
Oh yeah, we went to a bunch. We never got down to Wellington, where like Peter Jackson has his, most of his epicenter of where his production is. But we went to, like, they call it a batch. It's a beach house, but they call it a batch. So we rented a beach house, like all this. Actually, all of the cast was kind of let loose. I forget if it was Easter. It was some big holiday. And we had like 5 days off right before we were going to start shooting. And we had just done all of this research and worked together with rehearsals and did zombie school and all this. And then they just kind of went, okay, well, bye. We'll see you in 5 days. And we were all like, well, shit, you brought us to New Zealand. We don't know anything about this place. We've been here 2 weeks and now we're just kind of off the hook. So me and we started looking online for places, that might have a spot for 5 people. So we actually asked the production, we said, hey, would you guys let us go on vacation in the cabin that we're going to film in? Because that would be real fucked up. And we would love that. We would have a great time. And they were like, insurance reasons, just can't do it. We can already see the headlines, like, actors die because they were allowed to be on the set before there was any safety. So we weren't allowed to do that, but we did find this beautiful little batch on like a cape up there in New Zealand, and it was totally pretty and fun, and we all got to actually bond. Like, we all got to hang out for 5 days together and just shoot the shit and have fun and go in the water, because it's different, opposite seasons there. It's like Australia, so we were hitting it right at the point when it was turning into winter at that time. And we were going in the water, and we were like off a golf course, and it was just fun. We were out in the middle of nowhere with everybody. I learned to drive on the left side of the road and bought a car, and then I sold the car before I left. It was a totally ridiculous concept, but we got it all done, and I didn't kill everybody somehow.
You survived.
I don't know how. I did survive. Yeah, we had real fun.
Gary's Movie Emporium's in here saying you are awesome in the Evil Dead remake.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that come up there. That's so nice. Oh, thanks, Gary. That's awesome. I appreciate it. I got to play, I think, with the most fun part that there was in the movie. I mean, Mia and Eric, I thought, were the most fleshed out, well written, interesting characters. Obviously Mia, because she's this heroine and she's
who uses heroin.
Who uses heroin. And Eric, just because he gets the brunt of the punishment. Somehow he gets more beaten up and more tortured and more killed. I think I die like 3 times. And that was just the most fun possible part, because I remember from the original, watching Bruce Campbell just be beaten and beaten and beaten. And, he's an oldie. He's from clown school. He actually went to clown school. He's like, his physical comedy is so incredible. But, when he asked us to do this, he sent us all an email as a producer and was like, look, we don't want you to do anything that we did. We want you to make this its own movie completely. We want it to be its own thing. Don't look to what we did and try to mimic that in any way. Obviously what we did was ridiculous. We want you to make it real and make it different and have fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he also said it's his favorite remake also.
Dude, thanks. And I think that is true. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I've seen a lot of really bad horror remakes.
Oh, I know. It's like,
it's hard so sad. It's so sad when you see a horror remake. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to put anybody down, but I'm just saying,
I'm sure we're thinking the same one.
yeah. There's just a lot of bad remakes out there, and I wish that they would remake the bad movies that could have been good.
Yes,
the ones
that's
that were
what they should be doing.
It could be, but then you have. I think it's a money thing. I think it's a business thing. They don't have that successful title to work off of. They have an unsuccessful title that they're trying to work off of. So it doesn't work for business, for them to make dough, which I guess that's what it's all about in Hollywood.
But yeah, they definitely did something right. I think it's probably one of the more favorite out of the remakes that there is out there.
Well, he really took Sam Raimi's style and ran with it, obviously. And he brought something to it that Raimi couldn't when he made it at the time when he made his movies, because he didn't have anywhere near that kind of a budget or the practical effects. When I heard that they were doing practical effects for this, and for anybody who doesn't understand what that means that they're really having blood and gore and flesh and things that we can see rather than having green screen and having fake blood and all that. When I found that out, I was like, oh, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky, because so many of these remakes, that's not the route that they go. And I think a lot of that had to do with Bruce Campbell. In fact, Bruce was strangely hands-on behind the scenes. He was never on set actually at all. He wanted to stay away, but there was a time when we were doing ADR where you go in and do extra audio to fix some of the bad audio that had happened on set. And I went in there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Bruce Campbell's in that room," and I'm going, "What? What the hell is he doing here?" He goes, "Oh well, he has his own room. What he's up to is he's taking audio from the original Evil Dead and he's putting it into this new Evil. He's trying to find spaces for it in the new one." I'm going, "That's what he's doing here." Wow. Bruce Campbell is like a badass. He really truly cares about this. It's so cool. Oh yeah, and I'm seeing he said it was much more graphic than I could have ever dreamed. Dude, yeah. When I have a line that says like, "Dude, she cut her fucking arm off."
That was such a great effect too. Oh my gosh.
It was so gross. You know how they did that too? And this is like a testament to the practical effects. They had another person behind her who, because she was laying against these cabinets, like on the floor. And so for inside the cabinet, there's a lady who has gotten, her arm attached to Natalie's arm. And so they put the practical effects on it so that it fully meshed. And then Natalie got to actually cut through that piece of flesh between her fake arm that was behind her, you know what I mean? And like at the elbow, this new arm that was attached. So she got to see herself, watch what it would look like if she was cutting her own arm off. It was so fucked up.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it definitely makes it so much easier on the actors to have that kind of fun while you're making it. But obviously it takes a lot more time and a lot more love and care. I remember when we did that, there was one scene in there that we redid. They actually wanted to extend it. It was the scene where I'm in the bathroom, and Jessica, Olivia, she like, hits me with a sink and all that stuff. She's clawing her face off with a mirror piece in the shower. That was supposed to have kind of stopped. It ended like right after I fall over after I see her, and instead Sam Raimi apparently saw it and was like, "No, we need this to go further. So we want you to a piece of the sink is gonna come off, and then you're gonna have to smash her head with the sink." So I was like, "Oh my god!" And the needle going in the eye.
That was
so sick and gruesome. It's kind of the part that like some people remember the most. Strangely, that was the end of the day. There was the last 2 takes that we did. We had no time left for that day, and if we didn't get it done, it wasn't going to happen. I happened to have been like a sleight of hand magician when I was a kid, and so they asked, they were like, "Is there any? How would we do this?" And they were asking around like, how could we make it look like, the needle is actually coming out of the eye skin there? And so one guy was like, "Okay, I got it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a little tiny bit of glue on the end of the needle, and we're going to stick it to your eye skin, and it's only going to stay attached enough. And we're going to put KY jelly on your fingers so that when you pull the needle, it's going to slip through, like as if you're pulling it out. And then right when it gets to the end of this like 1-inch needle, you just have to actually clench it and pull, and then it will like come out of the glue will unadhere to your eye skin, and it will pop off." And so we had 2 tries. First try, it just didn't work, and the second try is the one that's in the movie. But thank God it worked, because it was so gross. One of the coolest parts.
I know you wouldn't on in the scene, but when it rained blood, did you get to see that effect? Like,
I forget what they said, how many hundreds of thousands of gallons of blood that they had on this set, but it was trucks of like trucks that usually would hold water. Just giant water trucks are holding just red, blood, and it was so nasty. I wasn't there for when they were shooting most of that, because they kept Jane after for like I think it was a whole month. She was for almost a month. She was filming that finale. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Yeah, I'd be death.
Yeah, I've heard that they put her. Not really through hell, but they've like warned her ahead of time, you were going to get sprayed with like a lot of blood.
Yeah, one of the hardest things for her to do was the burial, when she's getting put underground and they have to put dirt onto her face, in the ground. Oh man, she was not. Shoo! It's hard for some. That's claustrophobia is like one of the hardest things for a lot of people to deal with. So having a plastic bag over your head and then somebody putting dirt on your face and you're not being able to breathe and having to stay that way for a while. I don't know. She's a champ, is all I'm saying.
Gary was saying that look, the one actress gives popping up from the stairs that scares the shit out of me. That shit could stop time. Evil Dead and Cabin in the Woods, perfect twin.
Hell yes. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods is really fun. I always saw it more as a sci-fi than a horror. I never found it as like horrific. Evil Dead is a lot scarier to me, but Cabin in the Woods was the more kind of genius, interesting genre bender that sort of mixed in, sci-fi and horror at the same time and took us to a place we didn't think we were going to get to. Yeah. What's
cool about Cabin in the Woods, I don't know if you watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer at all back in the day when it was on.
Yeah, a little bit. No, I wasn't like watching every week, but okay. Yeah.
Well, in season 4, they have like an initiative army base and like the monsters escape out of the cells and they're fighting the soldiers. That kind of happened in Cabin in the Woods, but all the monsters came out at the same time. It was killing them. I'm like, total Buffy. Yeah. Well, Drew Goddard worked on it too, who also wrote on Buffy and Angel and Joss, of course. So
right.
I found it pretty clever how they like threw in a little Buffy nod to it. I like when they do stuff like that in movies.
Yeah, that is pretty sick. That's cool. I like this background that you have here. Did you create that, or is that like just something you found on there? Like what is behind you?
I think he's talking about you, Steve.
Skeletons.
You, Steven. Yeah, like
skeletons. That I found. There was like I could choose a background, so I was like, I'm just going to choose the skeletons.
Yeah, you awesome. Can do with this. I'll call it an app for lack of better terms, but you can pick a green screen. I don't have the best lighting. I've tried doing green screen; it don't work. So I just got the lights.
Every now and then, like I might go bald or disappear into the bone.
Yeah,
that's cool. Like, no, I really like it. It's very festive. I'm feeling the Halloween vibes right now.
Yeah, now that's just my year long though. I celebrate Halloween all year. It's horror all the time.
Most of us do, yeah.
I think it's like a lot of actors' favorite holiday because actors. For me, it was always like the time when everybody did what I did, like put costumes on and like made an ass out of yourself and just like walked around and it was like super fun. I was always Freddy Krueger though when I was a kid.
Nice. I was Freddy Krueger once. Well, technically, I have the woman's costume, but. I did Freddy once.
Freddy just always scared the shit out of me. I mean, like the scariest character there is. I always wanted to see like a version of Freddy Krueger when he was still alive, like a movie about him.
Yeah.
But the only trouble is like finding someone who could possibly be as awesome as Robert Englund.
Yeah.
I don't know who would be like a young Robert Englund.
Right. Yeah, that would be hard to.
Really hard to cast.
Yeah. Not for that part, but have you heard that they think even Robert Englund says that Kevin Bacon should be the next Freddy? And
really?
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it's been stirring around for a while that they've been wanting to get Kevin Bacon as Freddy. I don't know. It could be just rumor mill as well, so you never know.
It's possible. What's this say here?
Gary was just saying if you want to catch up on Buffy, it's on Roku channel live.
Nice. Nice. Sick. Yeah, I never really got it. It was like Buffy and then Angel was sort of the spin-off, right? Yeah. That was all Sarah Michelle Gellar at that time. Who was the original Buffy?
Christy Swanson.
Yeah, Christy Swanson. She was great. I loved that movie so much.
Yeah, she's awesome. I was lucky enough to meet her a couple times at conventions. She's really cool.
Yeah. And then Paul Rubens was in that movie.
Oh my God, his cool. He went and died. That was totally improv because even Christy was saying she didn't know. That's why she gave him the look, and he's just like just go with it. And
it's so good. It's so him. Yeah, it's one of the best things in that movie.
And the principal, when they're all dead, like they didn't turn to dust like they do on the show. There's the dead bodies, and he's like, detention. He's just throwing detention slips at the dead bodies.
Yeah. And who's the mentor? What's his name?
Donald Sutherland.
Oh my God, he was so good in that. Yeah, he's just been killing it forever.
Yeah. And then Luke Perry was Pike, and David Arquette was in it. And,
holy shit! I forgot David Arquette was in it.
Yeah, he was the basketball player. He's like, you're floating.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Floated.
Luke Perry. Oh man, I used to watch 90210 when I was a kid all the time because it was just on TV.
Yeah, I think I saw a couple of those, but I never got into it really. I mean, I might like it if I go back and watch it. Like I remember watching the one where like his dad died in the car explosion. That was like, oh my gosh, that was an episode.
I don't remember any of the story of that stuff.
That's
I just
the only
remember
thing
the
I
theme
remember.
song.
That's the only thing I do remember is the car explosion.
Yeah. No, it was just something that was on all the time. I forget what else. What else was I watching around that time? I would just say Freddy Krueger is my all-time favorite horror character. Because, I mean, like, he gets you in your fucking nightmares. You just can't. You're not getting out of this. You have to sleep.
You have to sleep. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to introduce my son into horror movies, and I had him pick. First, we started out with Jason, and he was all right, but he chose like the later ones that were a little bit more silly. Like his first one was Jason X.
Oh,
but
really?
I let him pick it, so I was like, "You get to choose." That way, he got kind of to choose a little bit, and if he got too scared, I knew what was coming ahead. And then I tried to introduce him to Freddy, and as soon as he heard Freddy talk, that was the end of it. I had to shut it off. He was like, "I'm done."
Wow, that's awesome.
I don't remember how old he was. It wasn't like super young, but I wasn't that demented. But
I just remember being able to walk into a video store and see all the covers and just pick from all the awesome art. You know, they're like, oh wow, and there was like the horror section, and it was always so damn scary to see all that. And I miss it so much. I miss having a tangible object that I can like read the back of and be like, oh yeah, and there's some pictures in there. Some of that stuff's not even in the movie. I don't know why.
They do that.
Yeah.
I watched that, I'm like, I didn't see that person.
And I was always trying to find, like, there was this one movie that was always out. Like somebody had stolen it at the VHS, rental shop. And so it was always out, and it showed pictures of like Freddy in a courtroom and shit like that. And I was like, what is this? What is this? What could it possibly be? And apparently there was some kind of like a variety show, like a horror variety show.
Oh, they did Freddy's Nightmare.
Freddy was always narrating.
Yes.
And there were like 2 episodes that were about his backstory.
Yep.
And so that's what I finally found it like 10 years ago. I was like, oh my God, this is what I've been trying to rent for 30 years.
Every single episode is on Tubi. Both
that's
seasons.
Cool.
So,
okay,
yeah.
Nice. I will check that out. That's awesome. Nice.
Get out of the movie section for a little bit. Oh, we'll go talk to Gary.
He's Wild Eye has the best cover art.
What is Wild Eye?
It's an independent horror company. Well, they also do like documentaries about stuff.
Oh, cool.
They did. I don't know if you ever heard of like Return to Splatter Farm or Feeders.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark Polonia does a lot of movies for them.
Okay, cool. I'm not really familiar with any of that.
So actually, though, I am going to be in well, I don't know if it's going to be Wild Eye or SRS, but that's what Mark Polonia usually. Those are the distributors. But there's going to be a Killer Plant movie called The Stalking, and I am in one of the main groups of the 2. So
amazing!
It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Oh, that's so fun, dude. That's so fun.
So I'm looking forward to that. So got my script. I pretty much. I mean, I have we're not going to start filming till April. He's already done like some other shots, but like. My group and the other will be filming in April in Pennsylvania.
Oh, so fun. That's the best.
So yes, I'm looking forward to it. Like we've had a bunch of them on the show. So that's how I know him. And I've been wanting to get Mark Polonia on, but he writes like 4 or 5 movies a year or something. I mean,
something like that. He's always
really?
I mean, he directs, edits, sometimes acts in them. I mean, he's just like
totally.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so fun.
So, if you like really low budget movies, definitely check them out. They're
Sharkula.
Yeah, there's Sharkula. There's Shark Encounters of the Third Kind. What other?
The Feeders ones are funny. If you've ever seen Feeders, the aliens that come down and start killing people.
I haven't seen that. It reminds me of like the movie Tremors or something in my head right now. It's like that actually that's a Kevin Bacon movie right there.
Yeah. Speaking of Kevin Bacon, yeah. Yeah, Reba McEntire was in the first one. That was it.
What does he say? Something like, "Get the old elephant gun. We'll get him."
Yeah, the
Because
elephant.
nothing can get through the ground except the great elephant gun.
I like that. Kevin Bacon wasn't in the second one or after that, but I remember the second one. They're like sleeping on top of a rock, and they hear a coyote howling. You're like, "Is that a coyote?" He's like, "Yep." He goes, "He better be quiet." And then also you hear it, you gotta be like, "Yep." The drummer came up and got the coyote.
Oh man, when I was a kid, I just remembered this. We had all these VHS, but they were like taped from HBO that my dad had like taped off of HBO. So they were like, bootlegged tapes, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I never knew what the hell I was going to put in. One of them that I found was House 2. That's actually like my favorite horror movie I've ever seen in my life because it's so insanely artistic and sort of abstract and crazy. But another one on there was Dune. And so I got it confused when I was a kid with Tremors because I was like the Dune worm and the Tremor worms. And so I always thought that the Tremor worms were the Dune worms. I thought that was like the same world that all that was happening in. The mind of a child.
And then they came out with the ass blaster Tremors.
What?
They call them ass blasters.
I had not heard that.
There's like 6 Tremors out now, or 7.
7.
Oh my god! Oh wow, that's great. Oh yeah, because what was the first name for them in the movie?
Graboids.
Graboids. So stupid. So good.
Yeah, there's the Graboids, there's ass blasters, and what's the other one? There's another one too. I can't remember what the other
fly,
one.
But I forget what they're called. Those ones that fly and like pick them up.
Yeah.
Oh
there's 3 different types, and I forget what the third one's called.
Yeah.
The newest movie has I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I'm horrible with names, but Napoleon Dynamite is teamed up with Burt Gummer.
I thought Jamie Kennedy Jamie Kennedy is in it also.
Yeah,
Dude,
Jamie
that's
Kennedy.
Hilarious. That is fucking funny.
But yeah, Napoleon Dynamite, he just makes it. I wish I could remember his name. I'm horrible. I'm horrible.
Actually, I don't remember right now either. So,
but everybody knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Napoleon Dynamite. That's gonna bug me because it's an easy name. But, it's like I need my chapstick. My lips hurt really bad.
Oh, such a good
But he
movie.
is hilarious in that movie. So I think it's called Shrieker's Island. It's like
Shrieker's Island. Yeah, that's what they're called, Shriekers.
Yeah, Shriekers. That's the other one. But yeah, they're great movies. I love them.
Well, there's some movies for your Halloween movies. Catch up on Tremors. There you go.
Nice. I definitely will. Yeah, sounds like a good plan. I'm trying to figure out what I have missed so far this year because my girlfriend hasn't watched a lot of horror movies in her life, so like I get to introduce her to a lot of these movies. It's very fun. You get to watch it vicariously again for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. So you said a second ago, Ms. Boomstick. You said we were talking about film for a long time.
I forgot. Thank you. You got me back on track. I was going to ask a question because there's an Evil Dead game that's out.
Oh yeah.
And they just
what kind of a game? Like it's a video game?
Yeah, video game. It's on all platforms.
I saw that. Yes, I remember seeing something about that.
There's a new DLC that's adding Maya and David.
Oh.
And I didn't know if you knew if they'd add your character or not. Apparently,
Dude,
if you ever heard of it, I guess
so cool. That would be so cool. I haven't heard about it yet, but that would be pretty sick. I don't think they have to ask me. I don't. I think
they own you if they decide to use your likeness. They're just gonna throw you in there.
They pretty much own me. Yeah.
I saw. I heard Maya was coming out first. I don't remember when the DLC's released. I've been wanting the game forever, but I haven't been able to afford it. But
what's it for? Like, what platform is it?
Is PS4? I think PS5. I think Xbox. It's on PC. What I heard is on everything.
It's on all of them.
So you play Ash or something?
Yeah, you could play. They have different packs. There's like Ash. There's Henry the Bread. There's
Is it mostly following like the TV show deal? Or is
it more
it's got following
a little bit of everything? I haven't played it yet, so I don't really know, but it's kind of what I've seen clips of. Have you seen Dead by Daylight or the Friday the 13th game where people like run around? It's a multiplayer game. I think
cool.
I don't remember if you could play by yourself or not, but it's a multiplayer game. You would play with friends or strangers
Like
online.
an open world game.
Oh,
kind
that's
of-
pretty
Right,
sick.
and you get
Nice.
like go out and like fight different things, and you get to pick different characters. There's
Yeah, no,
Ash, and
I
all
haven't
sorts of that.
played video games in such a long time. I wish I did. Like that when I was a kid, I used to play so many video games, I mean, like Zelda and all the like the real fun Final Fantasy. I was a huge fan of. But nowadays, I feel like I don't have enough time in the day. There's so many movies to watch. There's so much TV to watch, and that's so much a part
Right.
of my like career and know what's out there. So I'm always finding new movies, new TV shows.
Yeah, I just watched that new Dahmer TV show on Netflix.
Oh, you saw it? So
I'm
yeah, I
checking
heard
out-
I
Evan
binged it
Peters.
yesterday.
I heard Evan Peters was having a
Oh,
hard
he's
time.
amazing.
Yeah?
He is amazing at Dahmer. And what I've heard, I don't know a lot of Dahmer's like backstory. I know a little bit. I've heard that it's pretty well 100% accurate of his past. Like, it shows a lot of his like kid life or young life growing up, and it has his parents in it. It shows like
I'm only on the
victims'
second episode now.
right?
Oh,
Spoiler!
Oh, shit.
So I'm on the second episode.
I won't give any
Spoiler.
I mean, like I
but-
know his story, but I don't know like what's on the show.
Right. Yeah, it has like the victims' families in
I'm sure
it,
they have
and
that, yeah.
talks about them, and shows him going to court, and it shows basically his whole like lifespan.
That's cool.
But yeah,
Dude, I can't wait to see it. Yeah, I feel like I will watch that one just because Evan is a friend, and it seems like he took great care to do this role as correctly as he feels he could. You know, like really
Yeah.
dark, get into it, and that can take its toll. But I was just reading an article about that today. Him saying, you know, like it was really intense to have
I
to
can
go to
imagine
that
because some of the
place all the
scenes
time.
are like really. It gets kind of rough watching some of it, but
It's different when it's a real person.
Yeah.
When you're playing a real person, because you feel like you need to express it correctly because that person really lived, rather than, you know, I can fictionalize this and I can, you know, do it my way. Or I think he had to really get there, which is pretty scary,
yeah.
pretty nasty.
Yeah,
And he's done that a few
especially somebody
times
like Dahmer,
apparently.
It's just like,
Yeah.
wow. You know, but yeah, Evan Peters is great. We love him, and
So awesome. Yeah.
definitely did a great job at Dahmer. I think so anyway. I've seen a lot of people saying good things about it, but yeah, he did. He was very creepy.
Was it on what channel was that
Netflix.
on? Oh, it
It's
was
on Netflix. Yeah,
Ass. That's really cool. And did Ryan Murphy do that?
I believe he did.
That's what I thought.
Because I think
Crazy.
someone that was saying how they were going to watch it, and then they heard Ryan Murphy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Ryan Murphy's amazing. Like,
Oh yeah.
so
Well, Ryan Murphy, he's just kind of gone in so many different directions too. Because he made
I mean, he's-
Hollywood, and
yeah.
he made so many different types of shows so far now. But like his bread and butter, or his you know, his real baby was always American Horror Story.
Yeah. What was interesting, like I remember he did Nip Tuck, and then it's like, and then he did Glee. It's like, wow, that's one
Right.
leap from like
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
and American Horror
exactly.
Story. Like all of them are like total leaps different.
Oh my God, American Horror Story was the craziest thing I've ever worked on in my life, because they didn't want to tell you anything. They didn't want to tell you what was happening. I'd never been on such a secret show in my life, so they don't give you scripts. Like even when you're cast and you're in it now and everything, you get the script a few days before, maybe. I remember having to fight to have like a talk with the director, and I was like, hey, can I just ask some questions? Like, you cast me in this thing, but you had me read with fake material, so I don't know what I'm playing. And they were like, okay, yeah, you can have a talk with the director. And so I went in there, and I remember he sat there real quiet for a long time and just kind of stared off. And I was like, am I supposed to like get on my phone, or what? Is he going to start talking to me? And then he goes, I'm just trying to think of what I'm allowed to tell you. I don't know what I'm allowed to tell you. And you know, like, I think I'm just going to tell you what I know right now. And I think that's what he just seemed like he was at, you know, having an intense time with this. He goes, this is pretty much what we call a Ryan Murphy special. we don't really know what the hell happens after episode 3 yet, because he's working on this as we're going, and like we know all these characters of what I do know. But I was like, look, I don't need to know that much. Can you just tell me, like, what age am I? Am I 32? Am I 21? Like, what am I? He was like, okay, yeah, you're like 20, 21. I was like, oh, that's a big difference. That's not 30. Like that's different. And I was like, am I from California? Am I from New York? He goes, California. I was like, okay, great. Now I know that the accent is California accent. Okay, perfect. And he was like, you're kind of. I was like, what year is it? He goes, well, that's a tough one for you. For you, it's 1969, somewhere around there. But then this takes place in 1984. I'm like, what? I don't. Yeah, so I don't know how much I'm allowed to do. What? You're a ghost, okay? You're a ghost, and you're gonna die, and then you're gonna come back, and then you're gonna die a lot more. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was originally just supposed to be in 3 episodes of that thing, but I slowly realized that because they didn't know what the hell they were gonna do next, as long as I stayed available, they would just call me.
Right.
So like I'd wait a week or 2 after I was done, and then I would get a call like, hey, we wrote another scene for you. If you can come in tomorrow. I'm like, sure. And then they would send a courier with the pages to the house and like hand you hard copies of pages.
And sign for it.
Because they wouldn't email anything out because they were too scared that it would get out into the world. So they would hand you these papers the night before. You had to memorize everything immediately and then go in the next morning and shoot another episode. I was like, hey, I'm in another episode. This is super cool. I ended up being in 6 episodes. I was like, glad I was available.
I know when I first watched it, before I realized he was a ghost, because you don't realize at first that you're a ghost.
Yeah.
And I was watching, I was like, is he like the Kenny of this thing? Like,
right.
Because I asked him, because I was behind on American Horror Story, so I just watched it recently, and I texted him. I was like, is he like the Kenny of this? He just keeps coming back.
Yeah, when they gave me the fake material to audition with, I kind of got that out of it. I was like, I think this is a time travel thing, because I keep saying I'm not supposed to be here. So I kept getting like this vibe, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm not supposed, like, there's something wrong in the dimensional, something, and I'm here because of some inter-time, whatever. And so it turned out, yeah, it was a ghost, and I did die years and years ago, and they just kept killing me, and in more and more gruesome ways. I remember hanging on the back of a door with like 2 railroad ties in my fucking chest. I'm like dangling from the thing, and they're going, are you okay? Like, how long can you stay up there? And I'm going, I don't know, 5-10 minutes.
I'm good.
And then they have to reset me. It's always so exhausting to make horror, because you're always in that state of total I don't know what you'd call it, like exhaustion, just running away from something at all times, and then having to do that over and over and over and over, take after take, and also trying to figure out how to be scared in different ways. Like, because just being scared all the time, you just can't always be like, like there has to be different versions of that you can show. And so that's the trick of doing horror, is sort of, actually, to me, it's watching other horror films and finding out what other people did, and really interesting ways to be scared. One of the best, like, cool acting horror films I've ever seen is Creep Show. Have you ever seen that? It's, I mean, I don't know if it was Creep Show 1 or 2, but it's the one that's called The Crate.
I think that was the first.
I think it was the first, or I think it was the second.
I never remember which story goes with which one.
It was the second one. I think, like, thanks for the ride, lady. Yeah. All that was the first one, and then I think the second one was The Crate. And so that monster that is in the crate of that movie, it scares the living shit out of the one actor. I never even looked up his name. I don't know who he is. He's probably like an incredible actor. But anyway, he just had this, he was trying to relay the story to his friend. And then the friend ends up like setting up his wife to get eaten by the monster, which is even more fucked up. But he's trying to relay the story to his friend, and he's like having a psychotic episode while he's relaying it, and he's talking like this, you know what I mean? And he's drinking beer, and he's just trying to calm down. And I always thought like, wow, that is the level that you need to get to when you do horror. You have to be like going to the crazy place, like full insanity. And that's the sort of the most fun that you can have with it.
So when you
Anyway,
have to act
that's my
scared
creep
and do
show
like
video.
that, how do you prepare yourself to get into that, or what do you think of something that scares you personally?
No, I don't. I've never really worked that way, especially with horror. There's a lot of tricks. There's a lot of tricks. Like, if there's a good one that my acting teacher John uses. He says whenever you hear something scary in a movie, you turn into a big ear, like your whole body becomes a big like listening device, and you kind of you know what I mean, like you're sort of stuck, like, and then you move slowly, but you're just this one, you won't move. So like there's just certain tricks that you can use that are body tricks, that are facial tricks and things like that, to make it help look like you're more actually scared than you are, because after a few takes of doing something, you're not gonna be actually scared. There's just no way to do that. There isn't. I mean, we don't have amnesia. Actors just have to mimic being
Right.
scared most of the time. And so it's about making it new for you, and just keeping it real and trying to focus on certain things within your line of sight that you can relate to real life. Like sometimes I remember when I was a kid, I used to be on set, and I would, not in horror necessarily, but just I would look at my hand and I would go, this is my hand. Like this is Evan's hand, or whoever I'm playing. And then you look at it and be like, oh, okay, I am this person. It's not like I'm playing this person. It's not like I'm a cartoon of this person. It's not like I'm a character. It's like this body is Evan's body or Frank's body or whatever it is. And then that sort of tricks me a little bit into being able to really feel some of those feelings. I don't know. Everybody's different.
Sort of sticking with American Horror Story 1984, is there any like time period you'd like to be a character in?
Oh my God. I always used to say the 80s, and then I got to do 1984, and I was just in a show, Physical, that takes place in 82. And I was in a movie called Informers a while back, that's independent film was also taking place in the 80s. So I've gotten my 80s fill. It's been really nice. I've enjoyed the 80s a lot.
Now
I
you got to
think
be a guest on the Goldbergs and be in
I
the
know.
80s show. There we go.
Oh man, that'd be really fun. I would love to do period pieces that were more like 1920s, like something like that. That'd be pretty sick. I always wanted to see more of the 60s, because it's like kind of the time we all hear about, this like free love, everybody's on acid time, and that we never got to sort of see.
Right.
So, and it's a legend, the legend of the 1960s. So I would love to be in a 60s type show as well.
That would be good.
Mm-hmm.
We was close
Period
to it with
pieces
your
are just so
American
fun.
Horror Story guy, but
Yeah,
that
it
was
was.
about it.
It actually was. I was like, my American Horror Story guy had like the headband, like he was a hippie. He was, hit by a car. God knows how he originally died. Nobody really knows.
Right?
Died so
No,
much.
no one ever said.
He just dies. Nobody knows. It's a
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah. He's been dead a long time. He's been
Maybe
stuck
he
in the woods.
overdosed.
He's been stuck in the woods for a long ass time. Yeah.
How old was he when you got to do? It says your first one was Personal Velocity, and
Oh yeah.
really young in that.
Yeah, when I was in Personal Velocity, God, I was 16, and I was in high school, and I that was actually a pretty cool thing, because I mean, I don't know if you guys care about this stuff, but it was like that was an integral moment in me figuring out how to be an actor, because I had done before that like theater all only, and I had auditioned for TV and stuff, but the auditions you're going out for when you're a kid, they're like Disney, they're commercials for Smucker's Jam, you know what I mean? Like it's nothing that's going to make you understand what acting is. And I never did acting like classes much when I was a kid, so I wasn't really like taught anything. I just sort of had to trial and error it. So when Personal Velocity came around, that was this director named Rebecca Miller, and she's the daughter of Arthur Miller, which is pretty insane, and was married to Daniel Day-Lewis. So Daniel Day-Lewis was like on the set of this movie and it ended up. But anyway, the audition for this movie, I got to meet Rebecca Miller in the room. And I went in there and I had to play this hitchhiker who, another hitchhiker. Always a hitchhiker, a drug dealer. I always die. I don't know what happens. So I'm a hitchhiker who's like, obvious. He's biting his nails in like a really OCD way. And then you find out through the thing that he has been tortured by either a family member or someone in a basement for a long time, and that he escaped. And so Fairuza Balk is driving next to him and sees this like 15-year-old kid and picks him up and like sees that he is traumatized and that he's scared shitless, and he tries to run away, but then he comes back, all this stuff. Anyway, it was such like a very intense part. And I had come from like running around in a sailor suit and Sound of Music, going like, doe, a deer, a female deer. That's what I was up to at that time. And now all of a sudden they want me to like be biting my nails and I'm like not looking at people, and just this really intense character that's been traumatized. And so in that room, something happened that was kind of magical in that audition room. And I sort of learned what acting was for the first time. I can't really explain it. It was like just being that person for the first time. And I don't know why it worked, but it was the first time that I like noticed, this is what acting is supposed to be. Like I'm feeling all the feelings of this person, and I feel traumatized. And it probably was because I'm in like an audition room with like this really strong lady, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh God, fuck. So like, I related to his situation. But it changed my whole life, because once I realized that, I was like spoiled by the experience. I was like, oh, I get it. And then they wanted me to do that part. And Rebecca Miller was so cool that she was the type of person who I remember I was like 16 years old, and I'm going, so at my first meeting after the audition with her, I'm asking questions like, who is this guy? Like, who is this character? And she goes, who do you think he is? And then just doesn't tell me anything. And I'm like, oh, I think and she made me be creative. She made me make it up, and that's what acting is supposed to be. I mean, like it's supposed to be from you putting yourself into it, and that's what she taught me. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, Personal Velocity was one of the first things I ever did. It went to Sundance. I didn't even know what Sundance it was at that time. And we read I remember my parents read in the newspaper, like, oh, it won an award at Sundance, a grand jury prize at Sundance. And we were like, oh, that's cool. Maybe something will come of it. I don't know what that is. And then some magazine articles came out, and that's how I started. I got a Los Angeles agent, and then Thumbsucker came out of that about a year or two later.
Speaking of like heavy movies, he's also in like Carriers, which also is like a pandemic type movie. What was it like? That movie seems like it was very intense as well.
Yeah, it was. I would say my MVP friend, like most interesting person on that set was Christopher Maloney from Law and Order. He's like one of the funniest, most fun dudes to work with. He's so strange and intense and fun and to hang out with. But yeah, that Carriers movie was like, it was real dark.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super post-apocalyptic. Everybody during COVID started watching Carriers because it kind of looked like what we were going through. People with masks everywhere that all had like mustaches on them, drawn on just to have fun with the craziness of what's going on. Because I remember at a certain point that started happening for real. I was seeing people in Los Angeles with masks that had like Sharpie marker on it. And I'm going, oh my God, that was in the movie I did 10 years ago. That's fucked up.
It predicted the future.
Yeah.
Wait, Matt Groening, The Simpsons now, doing all the predictions?
Yeah, seriously. It was a dark film, and I was kind of a really dark part of it. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the movie, they make it to this place, and it doesn't even work out well. It's like their final destination, not to get into Final Destination, but I'm just saying that they're trying to get to this beach the whole movie, and once they get there, it's just sort of like, he's lost all of his humanity and has nothing left because he already killed his brother and his brother's girlfriend. Like everyone's dead. So yeah, it's a dark one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the movie long before the pandemic, and then I watched it a few times since then. And
I got a good
watching
story
it,
for
man.
you. I saw a ghost on that movie. The only real ghost I ever saw in my life. It was so scary. So I am in a hotel that they have set decorated to look like a apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic. There's dead zombies. There's garbage everywhere, but we're staying in the hotel. So when you walk out of your door, it's like set deck. So it's messed up, and their pool outside in the back is filled with like a dead body in the middle and like garbage everywhere. We're like, oh my god. That first night that I fell asleep, I remember going to bed and I lay down. I wake up in the middle of the night, and this never happened in my whole life. I remember right before I went to sleep, there was like light shining in the curtains that I could not make go away. The curtains weren't good enough to like block out all the light, so street lamp was coming in. So I was there's so much light in the room. I finally fall asleep. I wake up and I'm in like complete pitch blackness, just complete darkness, and to the point where I'm waving my hand in front of my head and I can't see it. So I'm going, all right, I had to have fallen asleep in a safe place, but I can't remember. Like, woke up with no memory. So as I'm laying back down, I go, I'm in a bed. I can feel a bed under me. So I'm just going to lay down and go back to sleep. I have to be in a safe spot. And as I turn, I see an apparition of a woman standing above me, looking down at me, it seems. She's got blonde hair, and I can tell because it looks like there's a light coming from above her and shining onto her shoulders and the hair. So it was either red hair or blonde hair. And I can see that. And there's just nothing in the middle. It's just complete blackness in the middle of her face and body. And it didn't seem threatening at all. And I thought it was part of a dream. And so I just kind of like fell into sleep and went, I don't think so. And I went to bed. Next day, I wake up and I go to the makeup trailer to go to work, which is at the hotel. And Chris Pine is in the makeup trailer because he's playing my brother. And Chris Pine is telling a story to the makeup lady. And he's going, last night I saw a fucking ghost. Now I've just walked into the room and I'm going, I should listen to this and not say anything until I hear what he says. And he goes, last night I'm reading a book and I fell asleep when it was still light out. And so when I woke up, there was no light in the room, but I saw in the corner that there was a crouching woman. And she was like, she had no face, but I could just tell that she had this blonde or red hair. And I could see the outline of her shoulders. And she got up and started walking toward me. And I turned the light on and threw the book in the corner and it was gone. And I said, dude, I know you're not going to believe me, but I saw the exact same thing last night in my room when I was going to bed. I wouldn't have even told you because I thought it was part of a dream that I had, but she was standing over me. He's like, what? And then we realized like our rooms were separated by a wall. We had two hotel rooms right next to each other. I didn't even know that beforehand, but we were like, oh my God. So now we saw the same ghost. So it's been like corroborated.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now me and him, we're like, well, we got to go find out if this hotel is haunted. So we go walking around the hotel and asking people, and it turns out it's so haunted. Like all of the people at the hotel see ghosts. One guy was like, oh yeah, I just see legs walking around the kitchen all the time. Just legs. Just the bottom half, but they're there about once a week. I'm going, what the fuck? And then it's one other guy we asks, he goes, oh yeah, very, very bad spirits here, man. And I'm like, holy shit, this is really surreal. And none of the producers ever believed us. And then the craziest thing happens. And I'm going into the room, my room, and now I know that there's a ghost there. So I'm like, well, I'll talk to it. I'll make it feel comfortable. I'll like walk in and say hi and light a candle. And so I lit some incense and put it in one of those incense holders and had it over there and left the room for 2 seconds. And I come back and the incense holder is right where I left it. And you know how it's held in by gravity?
Right.
It had been popped out and it's burning a hole in the carpet, but just the incense. And I'm like, how? Oh no. Like, and so I'm stepping on this thing going, don't burn the place down, man. Like we'll be out of here soon. And eventually later that day, I have to go to the bathroom. And so I'm, sitting on the bowl and I reach for some toilet paper. And I'm not kidding, dude. I'm not kidding. This is the scariest moment of my entire life. I reach for toilet paper and I pull it and I hear the toilet paper roll. I'm going, oh no. Oh no. And I'm not looking at it. I'm going, no. If I turn around and the toilet roll is doing that, I'm going to fucking explode. And the toilet paper roll sounds like it's spinning like this, like over and over and over again. And I'm talking like 30 fucking seconds. So I slowly am looking over at it. And it is. The whole roll is just going. And I'm going, no! This is the Ghostbusters moment. The whole roll ended up on the floor like a new roll. I was like, I'm out. Bye.
Did you ever like try to look up if like any woman or anything passed away there, or
I never found anything like that, but the place was called like the Villas at Santa Fe. It was outside of Santa Fe, this place, and it's online as one of like the more haunted spots in New Mexico. So just turned out, the old built on a burial ground, Indian burial ground type thing.
So whatever was built there, maybe something happened in the past, or
yeah. How crazy is that shit? Anyway, that's my ghost story for
him. Yeah, I think we all have ghost stories.
We've had some weird experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've been to the most haunted house in Florida. The guy, they set his truck out on fire. He ran out and they shot him in the driveway, and they never really figured out what happened.
Whoa.
And the family that moved in, the kid, he would watch the kid at night until the mom said, you're freaking him out. Could you please stop? The boat got moved. Stuff would be getting moved around in the house and all that.
Whoa.
And then after they moved out, a woman dreamed of the house. And I've been there because my dad worked with the woman doing wallpaper and worked in the house. And I was in the house. Like I didn't see the ghost, unfortunately, but I like heard it, and I knew I wasn't alone up in that attic. Like I knew he was there with me. Ooh. But the build out is really cool because the attic has like these really cool staircase that goes down to the kitchen out the screen door. And the woman who moved in before Donna had a dream of that house, and the realtor was saying, "Oh, this is interesting. If you go down here," she's like, "The kitchen, the screen," and she's like, "Yeah, I dreamed of this house." And they ended up moving out. And Donna wasn't on Unsolved Mysteries, but they mentioned her name, how she moved in. And my dad like heard footsteps and stuff when he was in the house. There was a time where the windows were open. I mean, they were like locked open, like nothing. They wouldn't just fall down. Like you said, how they hold by gravity. They're not just like, how the hell did that fall down? He would move her keys, and it was raining, and she went to hurry home. All the windows were shut and locked. Yeah. The ghost isn't there anymore. They did like some seance thing I don't know, but the ghost is gone. But yeah.
Wow, I've lived in several houses that have at least some experience in it. And then I've had one workplace that had stuff happen. I used to work at a pizza place and I was management. So they'd make us close by ourselves. And I didn't really like being there alone. So I kind of have PTSD about that stuff. Well, I think the ghost figured it out. That had this like saloon doors that separated like the kitchen from the dining room, and then the office was back in the kitchen. Everybody be gone, and I'd hear the saloon doors open and shut. My hell, I'm ready to go.
Like that's when it's time to leave. I don't.
Yeah, when you're at work alone and it's the end of the night and you hear something like that, I mean that's shit your pants tight.
Yeah, especially not knowing, because I had like a real person like come into my workplace. Well, I won't get too into the details because I've talked about it before, but came into work while the store was closed, and that's kind of what gave me the PTSD. So I never know, is this real or is this a ghost? Is this real? So I was like always on edge at night. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't like this.
Oof.
Yeah, I worked overnight at a Flying J gas station pilot. I don't know if you heard those. They're all
Oh
over.
yeah, totally.
Pilot,
No, I'm a cross country traveler.
So
Sure.
then you
I've
know
been to
Flying
many a
J.
Flying J.
Yeah,
Many a pilot.
There was a truck driver that was found one time dead in his truck there, and after that happened, one overnight I was working with a coworker Susan before I became like one of the managers, and she left, and she came out. And she was like freaked out. She's like, "You're not going to believe what just happened." I'm sitting in the office. The printer came on and printed out a sheet of paper. And up in the corner, it was like centered weird. Like, I know she didn't do this herself. I mean, she's not like a prank. I mean, like we joke around and stuff, but there's no way she would have thought of this. She goes, "What does that say in that corner?" And it said "help" on the piece of paper that just like printed out. We're like, she's like, "Okay, this is really some fucked up shit going on."
That's awesome. That's scary.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think my favorite story is actually has to deal with my grandparents, but my grandma had passed away, and then like several years later, my grandpa had passed away, and we were all cleaning out the house, and me and my cousin was going through my grandma's jewelry because my grandpa didn't want to get rid of my grandma's stuff yet. So when he passed, we was separating stuff we wanted. We was going through the jewelry, and my cousin came across this piece of jewelry. Forget what it was. I think it was a necklace or earrings or something. She had clip earrings. So my cousin's like, "Oh, I like these, but I wish it was another piece of jewelry." I forget what she wanted now. It's been a few years. And we looked all through the jewelry box for a matching piece because sometimes grandma had that. Looked all through it. And I was helping my aunt like clear out the whole house. My cousin was only there for like a day or two. So my cousin went. So I went to go help my aunt like the next day because we looked at everything, and like everything I was keeping in this separate room and was getting rid of the other stuff. And I went into the room that I was keeping my stuff in, and there was a dresser in there. Sure enough, that piece of jewelry my cousin was looking for was just sat on the dresser that we looked everywhere, could not find.
That's like Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the ghost keeps moving the butterfly hair clip or whatever.
Yeah, my grandma said she
scary
used to
shit.
see my great grandpa in that house too after he passed, but I don't know.
And
I
I've
mean,
seen.
I gotta say the biggest thing that it taught me was like, hey, ghosts are real, dude. Like, you don't have to believe in them.
Right.
They're there.
Yeah.
That
They'll
exists.
make themselves known if they want to make themselves known.
Yeah, you definitely have that moment where you're like, I have to include this into my understanding of the universe now that I've seen it.
So besides ghosts, do you believe anything else like UFOs or any supernatural, any others?
How could we
anything,
not believe in UFOs? How could we not? I mean, now the government's like, yeah, we've had a lot of UFOs. Like there's a lot of stuff we can't even tell you.
I mean, there's so
still,
much
even though
supernatural stuff. We've done shows on like supernatural and cryptology and everything. So yeah, it's an interesting.
X-Files was always my favorite movie when I when I was a
yes.
kid. Like I would watch that all the time and always waiting for the season finale where they're gonna like show an alien.
Yeah, like, come on,
show me an alien. Yeah, it was really fun. I don't know. I guess I believe in pretty much everything. I don't.
Who knows? I mean, we don't know what exists, you know. And
no,
stuff,
I think I heard about those aliens that live underground.
Yeah. Well, they're saying well, you know, the Arctic. Well, supposedly Antarctica or whatever. There's like some hole there because they don't let anyone fly there, and there's like different theories of stuff that goes on.
What the fuck is that about?
Yeah, like why can't you go there? Why can't you fly there? Like
that's really weird. That's really weird.
And then I saw this thing. I don't know. I didn't look it up, and I wish I did. But someone showed something on Google Map. Like if you go to a certain weird point, they're like, okay, what is this building? You zoom in on it, and there's like a building of a hallway, and just hallways. Like, what is this freaking building on Google Map? Like, where did this come from? What is this? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I necessarily believe in like werewolves or necessarily like vampires as we show them.
Yeah. I mean, people who believe they're vampires and drink blood. And stuff.
That's real. I'm going with that's real.
And then they say because there is like that allergy to the sun though, so they say that they're vampires because
Right.
they can't go out in the sun.
I would say I would believe in like evil spirits for sure. That can be a thing. I don't think it's just in people's minds. I don't think it's just like psychosis or like some, like Exorcism of Emily Rose, where the one guy's trying to prove that it's just a thing in her brain and it's because of a certain drug you gave her and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's always that. I would definitely say, I don't know though, like one of my favorite movies is The Conjuring. It's so good and it's so scary. And so I think if I didn't believe that demons could exist, I wouldn't think it was as scary as it was. So I'm going to go with, I believe that shit exists.
Yeah. It's got
and some urban legends can also be like shot off to something else like the sea. Like there's one near my house, about 30-minute drive. If you ever heard of Beast of Brer Road, it's kind of a Dogman type story.
Oh, cool.
The person had seen like something crouched on the road and it stood up and supposedly on its 2 feet, and she said it was basically looked like a dog, but it was hairless or whatever. And then, but most people are saying it's probably a bear with mange, so, which sounds plausible because Wisconsin, so it probably is a bear. But we're in southern Wisconsin, so there's not as many bears in southern as there is like northern.
Right.
But
scary.
You never know. Yeah, I've always wanted to go check out that road because we've only lived in Wisconsin a few years, and I've always wanted to go check out the road. I've just never had time to go cruise.
Check out.
You got to check out that road. You got to take a look.
Investigate the skinwalkers too. That's
I don't think. Well, if there is skinwalkers in Wisconsin, they're probably more north.
North, yeah, they would be there.
I would say they're probably more north. I ain't going that far. Anything past Madison is no go.
I wouldn't mind doing like a road tour of like haunted areas. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, you were saying that you visited a haunted house. Where was that haunted house?
Well, no, I used to. What was it? Was it Claremont? Shoot, I can't remember if it was Claremont or I think Claremont. I could be wrong. I have to look it up, but
where is that?
Asylum.
It's in Florida, though.
Oh, Florida. Yeah. You've been to a haunted asylum?
No, I haven't been to.
I did.
Oh,
where was that?
It's a town called Bartonville, Illinois, but sometimes it's also placed online as Peoria, Illinois. The Ghostbusters, or not Ghostbusters, Ghost Hunters actually went to it.
Yeah. I watched that a bit. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun show.
Yeah.
It's just I was always waiting for more to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I did a ghost tour of. They had 2 separate buildings. They had one that I think the ghost hunters went in, which was the taller building, and then they had buildings across the street was I have trouble saying words, tuberculosis ward. So there was other ones, and they had several cemeteries next to it. So we toured the ward and then went to the cemetery stuff. I got some pictures. I was at the cemetery, and you see white orbs above not in every picture, only a couple. There's white orbs above the tombstones.
Ooh. Ooh. Intense.
They used to have movie nights there, and they still have haunted houses out there too. That you could go, they have a haunted house at the location that you can go.
Wow.
And
that's pretty sick. I'd like to go to a serious haunted house this year, like a good, scare the crap out of me haunted house for Halloween.
Like one of those extreme ones where you have to sign a waiver.
I've never done it. I would. I
don't think I would want to do that one because they can actually touch you and stuff.
I know.
They allow you to be grabbed. And so, like you signed the waiver, like, hey, we can do this.
Yeah. So the grabbing part, that's the one I don't know if I could do that. But like as long as they can't touch you, if they can do everything else like that, that's pretty messed up. Yeah. That'd be messed up enough. They have some
I found
here in
out
New York.
I can't handle them.
Really?
Just because of my PTSD, I can't handle people jumping out at me. So I went to one that was like a little kid. It was kind of based for like younger kids, not like super young, but probably like preteen, whatever. So it wasn't super scary. And I was like
couldn't handle that.
I had Michael Myers like following me through it, and I was I was freaked. But it doesn't matter if you're wearing a mask or not. I can't handle people like jumping out.
And yet you love horror. So what is it that you love about horror?
It's cathartic. You get to see them handle it and deal with like the home invasion ones are almost some of my favorite. And even though I've somewhat dealt with that, but it's like the people fight back and Sorry about my dog.
How's that?
But the people fight back and usually win most of the time. But it's like a release to kind of
Yes.
do it. I can't do it real life, but I can watch it.
We get to cheer on the killers with the annoying people.
Yeah. Have
But
you,
yeah, I can't handle people. It doesn't matter mask or not. I cannot handle people jumping out at me.
Yeah.
So
that then definitely not going to a haunted house is a great
Yeah.
idea for you.
I tried and failed.
What about you, Steven? I was just wondering what brought you into like loving horror?
I just always have like I didn't really watch it much when I was younger. My mom really didn't want me to watch it, but of course, my dad like would let me watch Tales from the Crypt and
Oh,
stuff on the
Tales from the
side.
Crypt is
And-
so good.
And I was always like, I always wanted to go to the horror section. Like I like the pictures and stuff too, the artwork, and like
Yep.
my cousins watch that and everything, But I finally, did you ever see Monster Squad? The
Yes,
kids,
it's
Monsters?
incredible. I got to see it on like 35 millimeter film somewhere in
Yeah.
Los
I
Angeles. they
read
were
that a
showing.
whole bunch of times. That was a good one. Which we actually had Andre Gower on a prior show. He's
Cool.
who was the kid? Was it Sam? Was the lead kid? Now I forget his name in it, but he was the
Monster
main
Squad
kid.
is. I still have to show that to my girl because man, Monster
That's a
Squad is a
classic.
fun movie. It's such a fun movie.
Mhm.
It's has all the classics, all the best.
Wolfman's got nards.
That's one of the
It's
best
a good
lines.
starter to like ease into the horror
Yeah,
genre.
that's a really fun one.
But like,
to start
yeah,
into.
but like I'd watch stuff on the side and stuff. And another movie, it wasn't too terrifying, but my dad showed me because he grew up in Miami and we've been to the Everglades. There's a movie called Stanley about this guy who had rattlesnakes, like they were his pets, and people were trying to get on his land, and he would use the snakes to kill them. And yeah, it was
Nice.
yes. Because it came out in like 74, I think it was.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
But it's a really good movie. If I think it's on YouTube, it might be on Tubi. It's like a harder movie to find.
Stanley? Okay.
Stanley, yeah.
Weird.
So
Yeah, I was never honestly like I never knew that I was a fan of horror until way later on. It just sort of like happened that I realized, I've watched a lot of this stuff. I didn't even notice. And then I realized like, oh wow, it's also snubbed by the Academy Awards. Like they don't have a horror section. You know what I mean? Like they don't have anything for horror. So it's a strange world. Like it has to have its own subculture, or else there is no official culture, I guess. It's like subculture because there has to be. But I was so you were telling me that like your parents didn't want you to watch horror. And
well, my dad didn't really care. He let me watch Tales from like he let
Right.
me watch what I wanted to watch, sort of,
Yeah, well, that's how
wasn't
I
allowed.
watched Creep Show when I was a kid. So, and it was because my mom, like I said, we had all these VHS tapes that were all bootlegged, from HBO or something that my dad had taken off there, and so we had like Creep Show on one of those, and I just remember that my mom had never watched this movie, Creep Show. But then she never watched it all the way through anyway. And so we would put it on because of like the Blob one, the Blob that's in the water. It was just so scary to us. And
The
it was like
raft
all the
one,
things you're not supposed to, the raft, all the things you're not supposed to see when you're a kid. There's boobs. It's like all the things, it's like so scary and it scares the shit out of you. You're like, in fact, the 1980s Blob was always so scary to me too. I love that movie.
Shawnee Smith was great in that. Yeah.
But when my mom finally like got to that, when she was watching with us, like, after 3 years of having this thing on, or, that I would watch, and she finally got to see what we were seeing. And she was like, "Why are you watching this? What is this?" I'm going, "You've been putting it on. You've been putting it on for like 3 years, Ma. Like, we love this movie. Okay. We've seen it all. Believe me, we've seen it all."
What's funny, I got my mom, like, she's not a huge horror fan. She's seen some stuff that I watch, and what's funny is she likes the Devil's Rejects. I got her into that with Sid Haig. I'm like, you like Devil's Rejects?
That's so intense.
I know, and I'm like, that's intense. Like, but
That's one of the most intense.
but it's got
ones there
humor
is.
too. I mean, Sid Haig, Captain Spaulding, he's hilarious.
So great.
Like, our favorite line is with the ice cream. It's like, "There's no fucking ice cream in your future." And then the next thing,
Oh, that's
And
really
she's
great.
always so supportive. She's usually in her chat. She talked earlier. I don't know if she's still here or not, but she usually is.
Yeah,
She watches every time we're on.
Oh, cool. Well, I don't mean to go, but I have to make some din. So
Yeah.
I got like maybe 5 more minutes if you guys wanted to say anything else, but I'm just gotta go eat some food, and I loved talking to you also.
So,
All right. Is there anything you want to promote in your time that you got left?
I was just in a film that's called Men of Divorce that's going to be coming out. I actually have no idea when the hell that's going to come out because we just finished it. We were in Mexico, and it was kind of like a bachelor party movie. And obviously physical on Apple TV Plus because I get to play a surfer dude. But I haven't done much horror lately, and I can't wait to get back to it. So hopefully next time I'll be able to promote some horror for you guys.
Well, you're always
we
welcome
love all
back,
sorts.
of course.
We don't care.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Also, I just gotta say real quick, we didn't talk about Spring, but it is on Shudder right now.
Oh God,
Spring is a great movie.
We should have talked about that when we were talking about Nadia, right? But Spring is one of the best. And seriously, that I just love the fact that I even know Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead because they are such interesting directors. They made Spring, and obviously they made a bunch of movies since then. There's this one now that they just did In the Dirt or something like that. I think that's what it's called. But I can't wait to see these things. Like everything that they come out with is something sort of genre bendy and new, and it's like you've never seen it like that before. They do so much of their own graphics and CGI because Aaron is a CGI expert. And he can do it up to a point, and so he can do a lot of the stuff himself, which just requires sitting in front of a computer for a really long time and having like an artistic talent. but he's a super CGI editor type dude, and so all their stuff they can kind of whatever they can concoct in their head they can create, and they got some crazy brains. I can't wait for them to keep working on stuff. Right now they're working on I think Loki. I think that's what they're on right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, pretty sick.
But yeah, I had to bring up Spring though, so for people who
Spring is just an incredible movie, in my opinion. Like I really love that movie. It doesn't even feel like I'm watching myself when I'm watching that movie, but I was kind of playing a version of my brother, who's a little bit more mysterious and quiet. And yeah, I would just say that like Nadia was just a champ. She had to do such crazy shit in that film. Like just be in a cave, almost completely naked, scrawling symbols onto the walls and eating a cat or a rabbit.
With the rabbits,
right.
Well, she did. The cat was earlier on. There was a scene with the stray cat and stuff. And
but what a cool movie! And like we didn't even know if that could work. You know what I mean? When we were doing it, we were like, does this really? Is the audience going to go with us on this adventure? Are they going to believe that Evan would really want to be with this girl after finding out that she's like a monster?
And was that filmed in Italy too, right? Or
we filmed so much of it in Italy, only a little tiny bit in Los Angeles, but yeah, mostly Italy, in a place called Apulia. It's like on the heel of the boot, just above the heel. And it's really pretty, and there's like that's where all the olive oil comes from. And it's like I think this place Polignano Amare it's called, and it's really pretty, and it's all kind of, it looks like white stone. It looks like marble, but it's not marble. It's just like the whole city seems to be etched out of this one white stone. It's just really the coolest place I've ever seen. I've never been to anything more like a castle town, but like a beautiful castle town from Italy. So we got to film there for a month and a half, and oh god, so fun. I'm Italian originally, like that's where I get the Pucci from. My dad is a little bit Italian, so it was fun to visit the homeland.
Nice. Yeah, my mom was just saying that she's glad you came to the show.
That's your mom? That's great. Yes. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Thanks for watching.
But, yeah, you're always welcome back later once you got your other stuff. And
I'm so happy.
Or if you're bored and want to chat.
Or if you're bored and want to come on.
I really appreciate you guys having taken the time with me, and also thanks for letting this finally happen, because I know we've been talking for a couple of months now, but the times just need to line up, and finally the stars were aligned, so we got to do it.
You should ask him, since he said that he was coming on, and it took me a minute because I said bad with names. So as I clicked and realized who you were, I was like, "Oh, you're finally somebody from the Evil Dead!"
Oh, awesome! Yeah, it's so cool.
Oh, and his mom called you a cutie, by the way. So your girlfriend better watch out.
Oh, thank you. All right, dudes. Well, I'll see
All
you
right.
very soon, hopefully, and I hope I
Yeah.
get to make some more horror for you guys, so I can keep you
Yes.
entertained.
All right. Have a
Awesome.
good
You have a
night.
good night.
Okay, later, guys.
Bye.
Okay,
just
I
sit
don't
there.
know how to get out of here.
See
I
at the
think
bottom where it says
or I
Real
can
Stuck
Studio.
in this computer.
You can't leave. You got to stay another
I
hour.
don't know what to do. All right.
I'll go ahead and remove you. Bye. Boy, another David
That
Howard.
was about as good as a
David
exit
Howard.
as yeah. That maybe have to be one of our clips.
That'll be a clip, right? The both of them, David Howard Thornton and the Pucci.
Yeah, of them exiting.
Oh, that's funny.
That was amazing.
Yeah, we'll talk about spring later, but I was like, gotta talk about spring real quick. That was a good one. But it was fun though.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
got to tell him. I pulled up the information about Evil Dead Rise, and I got so sidetracked, I completely forgot to tell him about that. Oh well.
We like having fun too, so whatever.
Right,
That's
yeah.
an interesting ghost story he had too. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. Especially sharing it with Chris Pine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Like he wasn't even gonna say anything. Like,
Yeah, definitely. I think there's would probably be a couple clips, maybe. At least the ending for sure. And I don't know, I might clip something else out. I don't know. But yeah, I might clip that ghost story out. Make I don't know. I haven't decided. I got a lot of work to do.
yeah. Oh boy, I'm back to work tomorrow. So, I'll have to watch. I got to start watching You, see how that is. So, I heard
It's great. I haven't really made it past season 2 because I started watching it a lot, and then I just kind of fell off. I think they're on the season 3 now. I think.
Probably third one I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're on season 3 now, and I'm pretty sure season 4 just got announced. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really remember. I know they're past season 2, but I didn't really lose interest. I just kind of forgot about the show at season 2. So I'd already
It's not
seen
that
season
into
1.
You. Like the book. That's not that into You. Oh, okay.
So I'd already watched season 1. I didn't mind watching it again, but yeah, I need to get back into it. It's a great like serial killer type movie.
And I got to watch that Dahmer too eventually. Finish
Dahmer's
that off.
great. Oh my god.
I just, like I said, I just watched the first episode. And I'm like, dang.
Yeah, Evan Peters is amazing. I absolutely love Evan Peters, but oh my god, he pulled off Dahmer so well. It's cool that he was friends with Evan Peters.
Yeah.
I'm a cougar. Yes, you are. I have no idea what you look like, but it don't matter.
Oh boy. Okay. I think I need to put someone in timeout.
Let your mom spread her claws.
Anyway. Oh, but that was cool though. So
yeah.
Check one for our Evil Dead guests. So
definitely awesome.
Maybe more to follow. Who knows?
It'd be great. But yeah, he was great. He was in so much stuff that we could talk about, and he has great stories.
Yeah. It's like if we were to talk about everything, and we'd be on for quite a few hours, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. But yeah, so I guess that's pretty much it for the night, I guess. Anything else?
Nothing I really think of. So I'm going to try to put some stuff together for that person on Twitter is going to promote us out. So I got to put a little package together for him. So I got to go through several episodes and think of some good clips. I already have a few clips, but I probably won't use ones I already have. I don't know. I might use a little bit of what I already have clipped out on my channel just to save me time. But I might clip. I want to clip at least some more guests. I think the only guest clip I have is Brian Bremer.
Mhm.
So, and the rest of them are just clips of us being stupid. So,
Oh darn! People will be sick of us. Oh, I'm not watching this stupid
right.
show.
So I might, take some of the clips of us just being stupid and take some clips of the guests and like put it together, add some thumbnails in the mix, and
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
but yeah, it's gonna take up. I have to go through so many hours
Yeah,
of stuff because I don't really remember like when all the funny stuff happens. So it's gonna be a lot of work.
yeah.
Just download like your whole channel and just start working on it.
This is what was funny. I'll skip a few minutes, listen, skip a few minutes. There's so many good things that could be used. Who knows? I mean,
I know. That's why I was asking if you have any like favorite moments that you could think of, or favorite guests where I could kind of like
yeah,
pick. Well, I know David's probably one of them.
yeah.
Lou's gonna be another.
Lou will definitely be one of them.
So
But yeah, so I guess we'll be back Saturday, and I'll post what we'll be doing. We'll discuss that, I guess. So
yeah, something probably easy. Don't get us.
or it might just be a chill Saturday, and if anyone comes in wants to come on and just talk to whatever.
Right, because because tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah.
So then I don't even have a thumbnail made. So
I got an idea for your thumbnail: a giant question mark. Tune in for the mystery show.
I'm pretty sure I have a question mark saved where I can do that.
Tune in for the mystery show, folks.
Because I have a video on my channel that says I clipped out, what did I say or something. I was telling a story about something stupid I said, and I made a video of it, and then I had a picture of an emu, and then I had 3 question marks above his head.
Nice. All right, so until Saturday then, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
All right, bye.